Hi everyone. So today I'm going to talk about styles of prompting. Actually, I was working on this new agent project, and I was going through many research papers, and I found out that most of the still, if we want a really good accuracy in from an LLM, the best way is to get it through prompt engineering. So prompt engineering is actually uh, very important in getting like good feedback from LLMs. And that is why I wanted to means I have written this article, plus I'm creating this video because you cannot have uh, all the examples. You cannot show all the examples in an article. Now, basically, what I wanted was I wanted to display how the accuracy of different for the same LLM with the same question can differ if you on the basis of your prompts. And prompts can also be, so you can make it as verbose as you want, but what I tried was I tried to make it very simple, so that we can easily distinguish that how with the same simple prompts and little bit differentiations, the accuracy or the response of the agent is like changing so much. And when I'm talking about agent, I'm talking about simple integration, so nothing very complex or something, so not multi-agent. And here in the uh, starting of the article, I've uh, explained the three main style of prompting that I'm going to talk about. And it means and I wanted to show it for the service now. So that's why I even the questions that I'm going to evaluate these prompts on are also related to ServiceNow, because obviously there are so many information present for related these prompts, but nothing is related to ServiceNow, right? So that's why I wanted to highlight how the same question will have different responses based on different style of prompting. And as you can see, so there are three main style that I've taken because these are the most common ones. Obviously, there are various complex ones, but I'm not taken it. First is direct prompting. Direct prompting is nothing but you just, so I've explained it a little bit as well. Like if you're talking about the direct prompting, like suppose means the question is like, can you means um, basically you're asking, can you give me the recipe of pasta? Okay, so if you go for the direct prompting, we just want it to have a means the LLM to act uh, as a cook or culinary artist, so that uh, it is not providing, means once you provide a domain or scope to a LLM, because LLM has wide range of knowledge, right? So if you just provide a domain specific role, then it understands that, okay, I have to answer from this domain. Means it can its response can vary if only you just give this information that you have to act as this domain specific role. Okay, so in the direct prompting we mostly do that. And for like ServiceNow, I have taken the example of a person who means of CMD, yeah, person or an agent who which is CMDB implementation specialist, a ServiceNow architect. You provide answers in a bullet point, explain each part of the query in a precise and verbose manner. You keep best practices of implementation in mind before providing an answer. Very simple prompt, but so let's just let me show you how it will behave once we will get to, like suppose, so this was the prompt first, where it is acting as a CMDB implementation specialist. Now, oh, so this is the prompt as you can see over here. And this link will also be attached in the article. So if you have a like account, OpenAI account, you can directly go into this and talk to it by yourself. Okay. Now, one thing that we need to keep in mind, these agents or these prompts, they don't have access to your ServiceNow data. So if you are going to ask, how can I better my so I have a Windows inventory, but they are some of the Windows inventory are stale and they are not getting upgraded or discovered properly. Can you help me? It doesn't any of these like agents. I will call it agents. You can call it anything, bots or anything. But any of these agents do not have any like means information or access to your data. So it will not be wise to to evaluate on the basis of that. Okay. So let's just keep it simple. The question was analyze the impact of network outage on critical business services, considering dependencies and potential workaround. Okay, so it is very um, like a very common question. If I have critical business services in my CMDB and there are dependencies associated with it, what will be the impact of network outage? Okay, let's from the assistant, as you can see, it was able to identify that, okay, so this is direct prompting, all right. Analyzing the impact of the network outage on critical business services involves several key considerations, identification of the critical business services. So list out services, prioritization, understanding dependencies, what are the different dependencies, potential impact of the network outage, operational impact, financial impact, customer. So basically what it is trying to give, it is trying to give a kind of a guide that, okay, this is what you have to do to identify um, what will be the impact of a network outage if we have critical business services in your data. Okay, so this is one type of agent. This is direct prompting. It just gave us a kind of a guide, which is very thoughtful guide. I think it is a kind of a very like verbose, but yeah, this is where the limit is. Okay, now, and you will understand how the same question will have different answer based on the different agents. Now, the next agent is chain of thought prompting. Now, what do you mean by chain of thought? So suppose you have a complex thought. Complex thought means like the question was, hey guys, can you tell me how to make pasta? Now, this um, this if you want to make, like, as a human, if you want to make a pasta, firstly you need to understand, okay, what type of pasta I need to make, whether it is a red sauce pasta or white sauce pasta, whether it is a ravioli or other penne or different kind of pasta, what items I have, so whether I can be able to do it, whether I have a stove or not. So there are so many things, so many thoughts which are involved, which comes to us very naturally. But if you go for the direct prompting, it will just give you the recipe, the same thing that it did over there, that this is the instruction that you have to follow to get to the answer. And here also it gives just the recipe. But here, when you have the chain of thoughts, you have changed the prompt a little bit, that and I will show you how the prompts will change. So chain of thought is basically dividing a complex thought into simpler thoughts. So you are a CMDB implementation specialist, a ServiceNow recruiter. Before you answer any query, follow these steps. First, think, break down the complex query into simpler thoughts and identify the information you already have. Okay, which I already have. So I want to make pasta. I think that is the only information that I have. If any information is missing, ask the user for additional detail before answering the question. Now, this is the feedback. This is the reinforcement that you need, that, okay, this is the extra. So first you have to identify what information you are missing. So if for the above example, if I can say that, okay, yeah, the information that I'm missing is, I don't know what type of pasta that you need. So, and the ones user provides, okay, I need a red sauce pasta. And then you need what type of pasta. So There can be multiple increments where user is providing all these answers, and then okay, then you have, once you have all the answers, so if you are satisfied with the information, provide the response. So once you have all the answers, you provide the response. Otherwise, repeat. So you see, so basically what we are trying to make LLM do is not immediately provide the answer, but first think about what information you already have to provide the answer and what you don't have. And once you have all this information, then only provide the answer. And let's just dive in for the CMDB example. So this was the prompt 2. So if I'll go over here, and you'll see for the same question, okay? So same thing, feedback, response. This is the chain of thought that you have to apply. Analyze the impact of the network outage on critical business services, considering dependencies and potential workaround. Okay, so what it did, so before I can give you a comprehensive analysis, I'll follow the structured approach, which is think. So breaking down, impact on the what are the critical business services in question? How do you serve? How did these services rely on the network infrastructure? This is a very important question because different critical business services can have different architecture. What component systems are integrated, potential workarounds, feedback. So now, as you can see, it has stopped after thinking and the feedback. So it wants a feedback. I need a bit more information. Can you specify the critical business you are concerned about? What are the primary network components involved? Do you have redundant network path or backup system in place? And as an example, what I did, I was like, okay, let's give some information. We have some client-facing application which are used in healthcare industry, and we do have DR servers, which is disaster recovery servers. Okay, not sure about other questions that you have. Then the response, great, thank you for the information. Let's break down the, so, and it will, because once you have provided this information, we have asked it to repeat 1 and 2. So it will again think that okay, client access immediate. So now it has information, some of the information that, okay, yeah, impact of the client facing healthcare application, compliance regulations, blah, 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 and dependencies are these dependencies, then feedback. So it is asking for to fine tune the analysis. It even says the fine tune the analysis, but it provides the response. So here you can see the response is implementation, potential workaround and mitigation, utilize DR servers, data synchronization. So it was able to identify that there are DR servers available. So utilize that, failover strategies, multiple ISPs, use load balancers to implement real-time data replication between primary and DR servers without minimal loss. And so whatever information we have provided, it has provided response on the basis of that. And network routers can significantly impact the ensuring robust DR system, enhancing redundancy. So now you see, for the same question, how personalized was the response once it was able to identify that, okay, these this is what I'm lacking before answering the question, and then it provided the answers immediately after that. Okay, so that is why this chain of thought was like so you can go to the research paper for the chain of thought. It has all the information, means multiple ways to implement this, and for the single agent architecture, it was profoundly useful. Now, going to the last one, last one was a React agent. Now, what I mean by React agent is, so re means reasoning and act means action. So these are reasoning and action prompting. Till now, agent was dependent on the feedback of the user. But with the advent of this React, what happened was uh, agent became autonomous. You must have heard a lot about the autonomous agents, and this is where with this paper only it came into into picture. What basically React agent does is so if you think about this one, so here you see Hey guys, can you tell me how to make pasta? So basically, first it understands the thought is there. So reasoning is again chain of thought. So you are breaking down the complex query into simpler queries. So it understood that okay, she wants to make pasta, but what kind of pasta? She doesn't know. Means this bot doesn't know, agent, and so she is like, okay, let me ask. So, but instead of asking what it does, let me use the computer. So it has some tools which uh, which are and it was the agent is aware of that there are some tools which it can use to enhance its capability. Okay, and those tools can be of any type, like computer vision tools or like any APIs, REST APIs, anything. And tools are basically integrations. Like if I want an information from CMDB, then I can basically call a REST API and get server information using REST API, right? So that can be get CMDB data. That can be a one tool. And here it has a computer vision tool. Now, what this computer vision tool does, it basically gets an image of a refrigerator of that person, and once insights of the refrigerator, once it has all the insights of the refrigerator, and understand that okay, she only has a red sauce, so basically she can only make red sauce pasta. Let's give that. Now here you see that use of human feedback was not required. It was able to understand by itself that okay, the whole means everything that okay, this is the information I'm lacking, this is the way I can get it. And once I have the information, now I can provide the response. Okay. So, and again, this is what I have written over here as well. This style integrates reasoning plus actions in the algorithm, allowing LLMs not only rely on its knowledge or user feedback, but also to use tools to enhance its understanding and provide better feedback. An example for this prompt is you are a ServiceNow CMDB implementation. You understand the intricacies of the CMDB relationship. Your primary function is to understand the user's query, whether directly or indirectly related to CMDB, and provide a response by checking the information in the CMDB of the current instance. To formulate a response, follow this method. Do you have all the information required to answer the query immediately? If yes, respond. If no, repeat steps 1 and 2, but do not repeat more than 3 times. I don't want it to go into loop. That's why I just added this line. Now, if I'll go back to the chat prompting, chat prompting. So the third one, yeah. So again, same question, analyze the impact of the network outage on the critical business service and considering dependencies and potential effects. Now, what I'm expecting from it is instead of asking me, it should be able to understand it by itself. To analyze the impact of the network outage and how I have added the tools. So here you see, there are two functions, get CMDB data. So if I'll click over here, this get CMDB data is basically an API call in which get data from CMDB using ServiceNow encoded query. So it has to provide the query in a particular format, and we'll see. And then get CMDB relationship data if needs to identify what are the different relationships that it has. So if you can see over here, so to analyze the impact of network outage on critical business services, we need identified critical business service, determine the network component that these business services depend upon, and evaluate the dependencies. Okay, so first step will query. So here you see how it is understanding. So we'll query the CMDB to find the list of critical business services. So it is not going to ask the user, it is going to use the query. And next, we'll need to retrieve the relationship between the critical business services and the network component. So that is the second part. And we'll analyze the identified dependencies to determine how the network outage would affect these services and to see if there are any documented workarounds. Let's proceed with the querying. So now with the query, so it is a category is business service and critical is equal to true. So in the CMDB data, it is going to find that, okay, uh, what are the different business services for which the critical is true. That is the first, it is like query it is doing. And I believe that will give it is the list of all the critical business services. And then the second part it is doing is it is creating a query that the business service and the critical is true, and depends upon network, and the parent categories, and so the relationship type is depends upon, and parent category is network. So all the network um, devices which are depending on this business service, it will get all that relationship data, and once it has all the relationship data, then it will do the analysis. So here you see it doesn't need anything from the user's perspective. It has done all this thing by itself. Obviously, um, what it does, sorry. So why you see it in this format? Like I have to submit the response because what ChatGPT does, it provides, it doesn't call the API directly. What it does, it just gives you the query which you need to call. So you can just create a workflow that, okay, I have these queries. This is the workflow to call the tool. And once your workflow will call the tool and get the response, put it again in the same context as it is waiting for the response. Once we have the response, then like if I say no critical business service, if I'll say this in the post and simply run it, then it will say, it seems there are no critical business service or relationship, the network component defined in the same DB. This could mean that there are no record marked as critical, and perhaps the order has been updated. So now it has provided information based on that. So now you see how, so just let me just recap what we have done. We were trying to analyze the CMDB network outage means how it will impact the critical business services. For the direct prompting, it was it just gave us instruction what we need to do. For the chain of thought prompting, it asked users for the different prompts like, okay, what are the critical business services that you have? Can you tell me what are the different relationships you have with the critical business services? And then it provided, on the basis of our feedback, it provided the answer analysis. And the last one in the React, it was not dependent upon the user. It was dependent upon means it was using tools to get what are the different business services the system has, and what are the different um, like relationship it has using the tools, and then on the basis of those response, it provided the analysis. Okay, so this was and that's why I say that prompting can enhance the accuracy of your LLM application a lot, and that's why it is important to focus on these parts. So yeah, I will be creating more of like these because I understand when we are talking about multiple agents, multi-agents, or those kind of prompting styles, it will have like reflections and